Hey, it's Bronze Age Nerd. Let's watch me unbox a 15 comic quick press submission from CGC. So the way that a quick press submission works is you send a minimum of 15 books to CGC. It first goes to pressing over at CCS, and once they're done pressing the books, they submit them for grading. This is not like a pre-screen. Every single comic you submit will be graded. So these comics took a long time to come back. I submitted this order. It arrived at CGC headquarters back on October 1st, 2020. It's now February 26, 2021. So as you can imagine, I'm pretty eager to see what grades these got. I don't know what they are yet. I didn't look or anything like that. So we'll unbox it together. First up, we have Hella Risen number 3, which is the first full appearance of Punchline. This one is the B cover. And my grade prediction on this, pull up my handy dandy note here, was a 9.4. So let's see how I did. Hey, 9.6. All right. Off to a good start. All right, more Hella Risen goodness. This is obviously the main cover, and 9.8. All right, my prediction was a 9.6. Awesome. Stoked to have first Punchline and a 9.8. All right, got my third copy. This was also predicted to be a 9.6. 9.8. Oh, that's awesome. Right on. That is so cool. That's crazy too. So the one thing I'll point out about that real fast is that B cover had a different feeling stock to the paper, and they both had some, it's not really chipping, but just sort of bindery tears on the spine, and I guess on that type of paper they just were a little bit more harsh on that one. All right, now we got John Wick number 1, the Sienkiewicz cover, and I predict this would be a 9.6, and it got a 9.6. All right, so first appearance of John Wick in a comic and a 9.6. I guess they're not all gonna be 9.8s, huh? But that's what I predicted, so. All right, here, is a big book right here. Star Wars Heir to the Empire number 1, first appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn and first Mara Jade in comics. I thought this was gonna be a, one second. All right, so I didn't copy down the score for that one on my little cheat sheet here. So we got the Star Wars. I still haven't looked at it. It's been really tempting while I was copying down that score. I predicted a 9.6 on this one, guys. Oh, 9.4. Darn.
Fatality.
It's still a really good grade. I mean, that's still a near mint. Dang. I really hope that one would have at least landed at a 9.6, and I secretly hope for a 9.8. 9.8 would be money right now, but it's what it is. All right, so I submitted 2 copies of this. It's going to be really hard for me to tell which one's which. One of them is supposed to be a 6.5, and one of them I thought was an 8. So G.I. Joe 21, Silent Issue, First Storm Shadow. This one is 8.5. Off-white to white pages. Cool. Boy, wouldn't that be cool if that was the lower graded one? Don't think it is, though. All right, second copy. 7.0. Okay, so a little bit better than what I expected. That one's white pages. Okay, cool. Just in time for the Snake Eyes movie to not come out. Batman versus Predator. This one, was a little bit hot at the time I submitted these because of Marvel getting the rights to Predator. And this being, a book that you'll probably never see reprinted again. I said it was a 9.6, 9.4. Okay, 9.4 white pages. Okay, Psylocke number 1. This is one that'll probably go down as a big mistake for submitting. I said it'd be a 9.0. We have a 9.2. So a little bit better than I thought. This is like a Hope Summers minor key, and also just a rarer comic, kind of a hot cover too. But yeah, that one's probably not not worth it for submitting. Ooh, Young Avengers. Did not see the score there. So Young Avengers #1, and I'm sorry about the glare. There's not much I can do about it. I thought this was a 9.4. 9.0. Yikes. Got hammered on that one. That is interesting. I'll definitely be interested in checking out the graders notes on that. I know there's a few color breaking ticks on that can't really get pressed out. And that's it for box #1. All right, so we got 5 left. Let's see how we did. This one's much harder not to see my grades on. Okay, Avengers Annual #10, first Rogue, right? Kind of notoriously a bad cover, but a cool first appearance. Let me see. So I predicted an 8.5 on this one. 9.4. Holy smokes. Hey, that's an upgrade. All right, Savage She-Hulk #1, first appearance of She-Hulk, who's obviously coming to the MCU. I predicted an 8.5. 9.2. Hey, that's another score. Right on. And those two, you can see I got custom labels. Okay. Venom #7, first cameo of Dylan. This is the variant cover, one of the variant covers, 9.8, which is what I predicted. Awesome. Cool. And here we have, so this book was one that was hot and then not and then hot again. But this is the variant cover. I also have the regular cover. Ruins of Ravencroft #1, first Cortland Cassidy, and I predicted a 9.6. Got a 9.8. Awesome. And I went with a custom label on these. All these, I think. So last one here I know is a Venom #3. And it's a Venom #3 San Diego Comic-Con edition. Really hope I get a 9.8. I think I predicted 9. Yeah, I predicted 9.6. So come on, 9.8. 9.8. Yes, awesome. Cool. So yeah, the convention edition is what they label this one as, and a custom label on that. So yay, just in time for the whole null thing to be winding down. Awesome. All right, so hey, next we're gonna after the break here, we're gonna take a look at some analysis on the price and the values and see how I did. All right, so real fast, I'm going to go over the Go Collect values for these comics. I might roll in some other values later. This is what I use with my CLZ Collectors app, so I just input all my scores on these comics. Quick note, what I do with that is when I submit a comic to CGC, I change the score to a 1.0, the grade to a 1.0, so I don't get my hopes up about any potential value. I always put my comics in at either what it's graded at, or if it's a modern and I just do a quick and dirty grade, I put it in as a 9.4. And then if it gets a value associated with it, which means it's being sold and Go Collect has a recent value for it, then I bump it up to a 9.8 to see what the potential value is. I go pull that comic from my collection, I review it, and I give it a rough and dirty grade. That's kind of the new system I've come up with. But when I submit a comic to CGC, I knock it down to a 1. And so I don't have any false expectations about what the grade's going to be or what the value of that comic is. So I just went through, I changed all those grades to what I just got back, and now I can tell you what the Go Collect value is. Go Collect is not a perfect metric for values. I might also look at eBay sold listings recently, and because that's more of a pure indication of what things are selling at for the market, and some other things like GPA analysis I can do as well. Go Collect tends to be about a month behind in general on their prices. So some of these books might have heated up, some of them may have cooled down. Keep that in mind. All right, so with that said, let's dive into the scores we got here and what they're going for right now on Go Collect. So Avengers Annual in a 9.4, first appearance of Rogue, of course. I purchased it for $65, and right now it's going for $150 in that grade. Batman versus Predator, I got a 9.4 on that one. I purchased it for $5, and it's going for $22 in that grade. G.I. Joe 21, the lower grade copy, got a 7.0. I purchased that for $61, and it's worth $130. G.I. Joe 21 in the 8.5. I purchased that for $100 and it is worth $200. Hell Arisen, the first 9.8 on the A cover, I purchased that for $100 and it's worth $210. Same thing for the second copy. I purchased it for the same price, although from different sellers. It just happened to be the price it was going for at that time. The B cover that I got a 9.4 and I purchased for $52, and that goes for $85. John Wick 1 in a 9.6. I purchased that one for $14.50, and it is currently going for $95 in that grade. Psylocke number 1 in a 9.2. I purchased that particular copy for cover price back in the day. I bought it from an LCS when it came out for $3.99, and that one actually comes in at $110, so a little bit better than I expected. Ruins of Ravencroft, I purchased that variant for $7.50, and it is going for $70 right now in a 9.8. Savage She-Hulk number 1, I purchased that right before casting rumors started to come out. Not even who was supposed to be She-Hulk, but that they may have cast her. So the price was a little high. It was $93, and it's selling for $180 in a 9.2. Star Wars Heir to the Empire number 1, the first appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn and Mara Jade. In a 9.4, I purchased the copy that we submitted for $55.99, and it came back as a value of $280 currently. Although that one, definitely a long-term hold because there's a lot of stuff coming up with Thrawn especially, and there's rumors about Mara Jade being introduced into canon. Venom number 3, the convention exclusive, the SDCC exclusive, in a 9.8. I purchased that for $95, and that is currently selling for $200. That's obviously the first full appearance of Null. Venom 7, the first cameo of Dylan Brock in a 9.8. I purchased the copy for $15. That copy goes for $65, and that was the Frank Cho variant, if I didn't mention that earlier too. Young Avengers number 1 in a 9.0. First Kate Bishop guys. That one's probably going to be seeing a little bit of climb as we get closer to the Hawkeye series. I purchased it for $85, and it's going for $100 in that grade. I expect to see that climb. Luckily, I have a better looking copy that I'm still going to submit after a clean and press, so I'm pretty excited about that. So those are my grades. Kind of a mixed bag. We got some disappointing results. We got some really cool results. Stuff that I really was happy to see, stuff that I was a little less happy to see. But most of all, remember, this was learning stuff for me. I had to learn a lot of things about doing a quick press submission. I probably won't be doing another quick press unless CCS really turns around its service time. Again, these books arrived at their headquarters on October 1st, 2020, and it is now February 26th, 2021. It's a long turnaround for these books. I know the quick press is really just a one and done press, and that's what that refers to, but with a title like that, it's very bad that that's your turnaround time. Still, I know that's not what they're trying to say when they say the term quick press, but basically, I'm pretty happy. I think that there's a lot of potential in this batch. I wanted better grades, but of course you're always going to want better grades, right? Nothing seemed glaringly out of sorts to me, especially now that I'm more familiar with grading than I was. Might just seem like a few months ago, but I've learned a lot about grading in that time. And this is going to help me inform that grading too. You know, there's a lot of photos I took that I can go back and say, okay, so here's what that was, and what does that mean for the grade of this book? And now I have a baseline. And of course, grading is subjective. Different graders at CGC may not give the same book the same grade. There is subjectivity that is introduced. Supposedly they have standards to try to reduce that. There's a lot of to do about whether or not that's true. And they've gone and talked a little bit about their process, and they have said that multiple people have eyes on each book, and there is sort of a consensus, even though there is a final grader that assigns that grade. So ultimately, only thing I can say is I'm happy with some of these grades. I'm a little more disappointed with some of them, but I also knew I was going to be disappointed with some of them. I knew going into it that I was going to make some mistakes in the submission. Should I have submitted Batman vs. Predator number 1? Probably not. Should I have submitted that first appearance of Cortland Cassidy? Up until a few weeks ago, I would have told you no. Now that book started to climb, now that there's some King in Black hype around him, which is initially why I picked up the book and submitted it, but that book tanked in value after I submitted it. It was on a hot top 10 list, which I learned not to trust those too much since then too, of course, and it's just sort of done the roller coaster since then. So you know, definitely a few misses and some really cool spec books. Like, I'm excited to see what happens with She-Hulk. I'm excited to see what happens with Thrawn, possibly Mara Jade. I'm excited to see what happens with Kate Bishop. I'm excited to see what happens with Null, Storm Shadow, and the G.I. Joe situation. So there's some really cool stuff in there. And hopefully in the end, this becomes a really worthwhile submission. And I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm super curious about any of the grades that you might have disagreed with down below. You know, make fun of me for my choices and submissions, or being a noob at this, or whatever you want to do. That's totally cool. I want to engage with you guys in the comments and see what you have to say. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. I really appreciate it. And just remember, as always, hey, 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 read comics every day.